Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, we can see that Bitcoin is just hovering around the $30,000 level. It's not moved a lot in the last 24 hours. It's weekend as well, so we just need to be a bit mindful, a bit careful of that. Volume is low. Volatility is a little bit lower here on the weekend for Bitcoin. And also the altcoins are moving sideways a little bit, which is not a problem because the dust just needed to settle a little bit. And I think my view is at the moment we are still waiting here for a decision of the market, how it's going to continue. Overall, you know that my view is that we haven't seen the low yet, but at any point the low could already be in because we have reached my target area that we have talked about for 6 months. Before we want to dive into the Bitcoin analysis, I'd like to show you here one indicator that we can find on lookintobitcoin.com. We haven't talked about this particular one before. We've talked about many other ones on lookintobitcoin.com. By the way, a free website with a lot of Bitcoin indicators that currently are flashing some signals. One signal here, actually a buy signal historically, is the so-called reserve risk. So this basically compares the Bitcoin price to the confidence among investors. It's a little bit of a more complex analysis, or a bit of more of a complex calculation. You can take a look at that in the Look Into Bitcoin, or on the Look Into Bitcoin website. But it's not really important to know how it is calculated. It's more important to know that historically, when we reached this lower band here in green, that you can see here, where the reserve risks dips into this green range, that historically this has been a good time to buy. And when it reached the red zone up here, it usually flagged up a cycle top. Now this is one of the indicators that did not flag up a cycle top in May 21 or November. There are some other indicators that did flag one up in May last year or April, but this one didn't. But it has now entered the green zone. Now don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean just because it's entering that green zone that tomorrow we are going to 100k. Absolutely not, but it just indicates that we're now in this green zone, and we've been typically in that zone after each cycle top. So here we had that 2011 for a very long time here between 2015 and 2017. Then here after the bull market in 2017, we dipped into it end of 2018. And then again when COVID hit, and we have now started to enter it again. And I can't tell you how long we're going to be in there, but it is just historically a very interesting level. And you can see that based on, well, throughout the history here, we really maxed out the entire green band. So we really, based on this indicator, can't really say it's going to drop that low or that low. Historically, we've really maxed out the entire range. So it's just something very interesting to understand, that a lot of these signals and also these indicators on lookintobitcoin.com currently flash that we are in interesting buy zones, especially long term. This is more of a long term indicator, yeah. So this is just something I wanted to share with you for everybody who's new in the crypto market, and maybe everybody who's been in here for a long time. Also, some people just don't know about this one, reserve risk, quite an interesting one. So check it out on lookintobitcoin.com. Looking here at the Bitcoin price, it is a bit of an up and down, and we haven't broken any critical level yet. So really what we would need to do, either drop below 28.7k to enter the larger target area. I think then new lows are possible. Yesterday we dipped down to the 28.7k level and moved up a little bit from here, but only made a lower high. So at the moment, really the market a bit indecisive. Again, not much of a surprise. It's weekend, lower volume anyway. So we haven't got back into the yellow target area. And this is, by the way, the target area between 20 and 29k that we've been talking about for the last 6 months, which we have finally entered this week here on the 12th of May, which is just fantastic. After a long period, a long journey, an adventure, I would nearly say, we finally reached this area, and therefore I am saying that at any point now the low could be in, and we don't have enough structure in the chart yet to say with certainty that the low is already in. We just need to have a bit of patience now, because we are in a possible turnaround space. And the fact that we are in this possible turnaround space is just indicated by the fact that you can see the market is also a bit indecisive now. Yeah, we've dropped quite a lot, all the way down to 25k or even 25.5. It depends a bit on the exchange. I think on some exchanges we just dropped below 25k, even, no, 24k even. This just depends on the exchanges and is unfortunately in the crypto market not really standardized. Yeah, so because of these different exchanges, you have slightly different prices, just slightly different prices sometimes. But here, yeah, I'm using the Bitstamp chart, and here you can see that we are making lower highs, we're making higher lows. So pretty much we're entering here currently a bit of a triangle formation, usually considered a bit of a neutral pattern. But because we have come from such a strong downtrend, you could argue that it's more likely to drop out of this triangle to the downside. Now that would take us, if we take just a technical target here of the triangle, that would take us back into the target area here. Depending on when the breakout happens, it could take us pretty much to the previous low at 25.5K. I think when we drop back into the target area, there could be a good a likelihood that we actually make a lower low. Yeah, this could be a bit of a catastrophic event for many altcoins. Could be a bit of a capitulation. It could also, that could become also a reversal pattern down here. So let's say we drop into it, yeah, and that's what we did, and we might do that again, and you get a big double bottom. So that would be something that would be interesting. Obviously all speculation at this stage. We've got a triangle, it's a neutral pattern. As a trader, investor, someone who's looking at the charts, we need to wait usually anyway until that pattern breaks. It is good that we can finally identify here such a pattern or a trend line, because until yesterday we didn't really have a structure here. Now we have 3 touch points, which allows us to identify first of all a descending trend line, and here we've got 2 touch points that allows us to, together with that, to identify a triangle pattern. So this could be here within this wave 4. This could indicate the wave 4 is already finished. This is one option. So this would be the more bearish version, where we say, all right, this wave 4 is finished. We are now going to wait for that. Oops, what happened here? No, we are now going to enter here this last sell-off in a wave 5, which would also end the higher level wave 2. And let me just show you. So, and within this, what this could then be, and again, this is all speculation because we are pretty much doing it right now. This could be a wave 1, 2, absolutely possible. Then we could have our wave 3, 4, 5, for example, yeah? And that would end then that 5th wave. It could come down, in my view, all the way to the 200-week moving average. Historically, that has been a super important support level for Bitcoin, the 200-week moving average around 22K. So at the moment, triangle pattern, a good addition here to the chart, because yesterday it was really hardly possible to identify any kind of structure here. It's good to see that we have now a consolidation pattern, and yeah, we could see this breakout certainly either today before the end of the weekly candle, or tomorrow, I believe. You know, when we get here into this apex, you can see it down here, the times. So this chart is based on UTC, 7 o'clock, 10 minutes in the morning here currently, and based on UTC, and pretty much 15th, yeah, pretty much, I would say maybe 24 hours from now, we are really in the apex. But normally you don't wait until you get really into the smallest corner of the apex. Normally it breaks out before that. So maybe today we could have a bit of a breakout here. The target to the upside, should it take it to the upside, what would be the target? Just roughly here, let's assume it happens today, could take us actually above 32.9K. Here quite a relevant resistance level, and that would also allow Bitcoin to make a higher high here compared to the previous one, and that wave 4 here in yellow. So interesting times. So a little bit of waiting. Quite typical that on a weekend we have a bit of a consolidation, and then towards the end of the week. So I mean, we've got the weekly candle and the daily candle close today. In the last few weeks, we have always seen a bit of volatility around that time. So it will be really interesting to see how the weekly candle ends. My view is more likely would be here a move to the downside, but of course I don't know. The reason is that the medium-term wave count would suggest there is another wave down coming. And the other reason is that this is after a downtrend, a consolidation, indicating that this is just a consolidation in a downtrend, a neutral pattern, which would also be considered trend continuation. And from here we would then move down in one more wave, which consists again of 5 waves, and maybe of these 5 waves, wave 1 and 2 is already done. Let's take a look at the Fibonacci levels of that wave 2, because this is also interesting just to determine how far did we actually come back in the wave 2. A wave 2 typically comes back at least to the 50% Fibonacci retracement, and there you go. We have reached actually the 61.8 perfectly. Yeah, this was here the candle close on the 4 hour, and we've even broken it slightly. So the fact that we reacted here to the 61.8 could really indicate that we are now starting to turn down again. But at the moment, just speculation, we need to wait for that breakout first. But these are sort of the important levels that we have here on the chart at the moment for Bitcoin. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership and maybe even the trading course I'm currently publishing on the website, morecryptoonline.com. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.